What's up, it's Wigwam, and today we're reviewing Santa Clarita Diet. That's right, I do TV show reviews now. Join me next week and I'll review your microwave. I don't care, I'll review literally anything you guys want. I have overly analytical opinions on everything. The very first thing I'm gonna need you to do is throw away all of your preconceived notions on what you think this show is gonna be like. Just about everything I had thought about this show going into it was completely wrong. I based a lot of this information on the trailers and the advertisement, and I don't think the marketing team has done a decent job of showing you what this show is at all. The premise of the show is a mix of Dexter, Breaking Bad, and a pinch of The Walking Dead. It's about Sheila Hammond, played by Drew Barrymore, who is your typical boring suburban mom living in a small city outside of LA.
Jennifer Lawrence chopped off her hair again. Everybody hates it like that, but she doesn't care.
Everything is white bread and hot dog normal until one day, while Sheila and her husband Joel Hammond, played by Timothy Oliphant, are showing a house to some potential clients, Sheila vomits. A lot. Like a lot.
So
and she throws up this weird looking red ball that looks like some kind of organ. It's concerning, quite frankly. This sets up a plot that then revolves around Sheila adjusting to her new life, trying to find people to murder and eat who deserve it, and trying to maintain appearances with friends while keeping her family together. This sounds like they set up for a contrived and overly tropey drama, one that's trying to check off all the boxes for what's popular right now. I mean, if you added some Game of Thrones dragons, it would pretty much have everything that's popular right now on TV in it. But it's actually not that at all. It's more of an absurd and downright silly premise for a family comedy style sitcom. Santa Clarita Diet has more in common with Modern Family than it does with Dexter. It's a situational, semi-episodic style sitcom, meaning nearly each episode brings a new zany circumstance for the family to deal with, but there is a cohesive story linking one situation to the next. I don't want to spoil anything, so I'm not going to get too specific, but I really enjoy this style of storytelling. It plays really well into binge watching, and this is a Netflix original, so you're going to be binge watching it. In addition to Sheila and Joel, the main cast of character is rounded out by their daughter Abbey Hammond, played by Liv Hawson, and their next door neighbor's nerdy son and Abby's classmate, Eric Bemis, played by Skylar Gisondo. I'm not sure if that's how you actually pronounce it name, but if it's not, it should be. Eric Bemis, greatest name, serves the plot by being the information resource for the family.
What's going on? She is dead?
He plays the classic nerd that knows everything cliche, but he does a pretty good job of it. The family comes to him with all sorts of questions, and his character often drives the plot forward as the family is searching for a cure to put things back to normal. His mom in the show is played by Mary Elizabeth Ellis, who you may recognize as the waitress from It's Always Sunny.
Eric worships you. You're the queen of his spank bank.
Mom, please!
Okay.
She also plays Sheila's friend in classic terrible, bored, loose-moraled suburban mom. She's stuck in like her third or fourth marriage, I think, and it's loveless, and the guy's a jackass, is she cheating on him, and blah, 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 it's all there. A lot of the characters in this show kind of stick to very stereotypical archetypes, which normally sounds like a bad thing, but in Santa Clarita Diet, I think it's actually kind of brilliant. It truly drives home how absurd the premise is for this show. You just have all these neighbors and family friends who are caught up in their petty and nearly one-dimensional lives, and it's so starkly contrasted to what the Hammonds are going through.
Hi, Rick.
Hey, sorry. I was listening to a cooking podcast. Very relaxing.
Like, there is an episode, for reasons I won't spoil, Sheila has to eat an entire body overnight, or risk being caught. It's a tense moment, mixed in with some disgusting humor, but it's so well offset by how the neighbors are dealing with a related situation. The absurd juxtaposition of normal suburbia and the horrible and unexplained tragedy that the Hammonds are dealing with is what really started to set this show apart for me. The side characters in this show are all pretty great. They're funny and likable, except of course for the ones that you're supposed to hate, which are just delightfully terrible. We get guest appearances from actors like Nathan Fillion, Pat Oswalt, and Portia de Rossi. Again, I don't know if that's her name, but it should be, because that's how I pronounce it. The cast is all pretty great with the one exception of the daughter, Abbey. I don't think she was bad, I just don't think she was performing at the level that all the other actors were performing at. Her character is essentially just a typical teenager trying to survive high school while dealing with an undead mother. Normal stuff. She has some really solid dramatic moments and some okay comedy bits, but then there were some deliveries that I just felt fell completely flat. Also, I found her haircut distracting. It's not really her fault, it's the makeup artist's fault, but I feel like as a professional makeup artist, you should know how to not make someone's forehead seem gigantic. I'm just saying, I've seen her with normal hair. Like, she looks normal with a normal haircut. I know it's not super important, but I did find it distracting in almost every scene that she was in. And now you will too, probably. So you're welcome. Because Abbey is just a typical teenager, a lot of her plotlines didn't really feel that interesting. She does the typical teenage acting out for attention thing, skipping school, getting into fights, constantly asking her parents if she can help murder people with them. The usual 16-year-old boring stuff. Near the end of the season, she starts to prove herself more by being resourceful and never hesitating in the face of danger. I hope they can continue to develop this part of her character going into the second season. She has a lot of potential to round out this really badass family, but so far she's not really there, and the best moments all happened almost entirely in like the last episode or two. And speaking of the end of the season, I did not care for the way the season ended. The season finale felt like just another episode and ended on a lot of cliffhangers. It felt less like it ended on a suspenseful moment and more like it just ended 10 minutes too soon. I know that seems redundant because it's a cliffhanger, but to prove my point, think about Breaking Bad season 5A ending. Hank is sitting on the toilet and has just figured out who Heisenberg really was. That was a great cliffhanger versus The Walking Dead's recent travesty of a season 6 closer when they just failed to reach the climax of the episode. You can't just build up to something and then end the episode before you get to the climax. You have to reach the climax and then leave the audience speculating on what happens next. That's how you properly do a cliffhanger. It's a minor complaint technically though, because the show is definitely more focused on the comedy than the drama, which is a good thing because the comedy is great. Almost every single episode of this show is laugh out loud funny. There's a good amount of humor revolving around eating people, so beware if you're squeamish, but the show certainly has a lot more to offer than just cheap gross out humor. The character interactions are amazing. Watching Joel, the classic super nice A-type personality, just try to keep it together while his wife eats people is pretty much excellent from start to finish. Timothy Olyphant, so good. Just so good. Drew Barrymore, obviously so good, is funny throughout. And as I mentioned, almost all of the side characters are winners. So, in conclusion, I think Santa Clarita Diet is a great family comedy. Family in that it's about a family, not that you should watch it with your family. Please, do not watch this with your family. Unless your family's kind of fucked up. It breaks a lot of the norms of the genre, a bit in the way that like Sausage Party did for animated movies, or Deadpool did for superhero movies. It pushes the boundaries of what you would normally expect from a family sitcom. For me, this show was a solid 8 out of 10, no more, and definitely no less. It's not gonna be for everybody though. If you don't like the gross out humor, if you're way too squeamish, it gets a little graphic at times, and you're not gonna like it. But I think this show has a little something to offer for anybody with an open mind. I would definitely say check it out on Netflix right now. But those are just my opinions on the show. If you've seen Santa Clarita Diet, let me know what you thought of the show down below. As well as if you enjoyed this review, make sure to subscribe for my next TV show review, which will be Love Season 2, the Judd Apatow thing. I watched Season 1, just finished Season 2, about to go write the script for that. So, stick around for that. I also do game reviews, and I love your beautiful faces, so stick around for the love of your beautiful faces, and I'll catch you guys in the next video. Bye-bye. Today's coffee mug was still Kahlua. That's right, it's the same coffee mug as the last video, because I recorded them side by side. I'm sorry for the disappointment. We can pretend it's just blank. It's blank, just your imagination right here.